Greetings, Dr. Joseph Martin. Wonderful and great to see you here again. Thank you for participating in our ongoing knowledge library. Jetsun Milarepa, Tibet's greatest yogi, 1062 to 1135 in the Common Era. So about 950 years ago, he was born in southern Tibet to a very wealthy family near the Brahmaputra River. Now, previously in Tibet, Tibet being the fifth of the post-Atlantean civilizations that left, and we've talked about that in other videos, when Atlantis fell and dissolved and went under the waters, one of the five groups actually went to Tibet. Now, because there was a lot of darkness at the time in the fall of Atlantis, the tradition in Tibet before Buddhism, remember, Milarepa is not only the first Buddhist, but also the greatest yogi of Tibet in the modern era. The Tibetan culture previously had been animist. That means that they were involved in black magic, some white magic, sorcery, the knowledge and the use of souls and everything having spirit, including rocks and the elements and waters and so on and so on. Now, when Milarepa was a young man, his father died unexpectedly, and his aunt, related to his mother, took all the wealth of the family, and that was considerable, including all the land, all the animals, and all the property in terms of the housing. And it left himself and his mother and another sibling completely destitute. Out of revenge, his mother, Milarepa's mother, sent him to a far distant mountain cave to a black magician who trained him in black magic, which was something that was done in the day in Tibet. Over a few years as a teenager, Milarepa did learn a lot of black magic, and then his mother asked him to use the black magic to create some revenge against the aunt and her family, who were having a celebration in their house of a wedding of one of the aunt's sons. And so what Milarepa did through the use of his knowledge of how to use the elements, he created a major, massive hailstorm which fell on the roof of the house, destroyed the house, and killed 35 people. Well, he had done other things as well, but that was the major historical event that we know about Milarepa. And then shortly thereafter, Marpa the Translator, who is a great Buddhist scholar and traveler who came from India to Tibet to look for his first student. And Milarepa, realizing that the evil ways that he had been doing actually didn't suit him any longer, he looked for Marpa as well, so they kind of met together and they became teacher and student, Milarepa the student. Many things transpired in Milarepa's life, who, by the way, is Babaji Nagaraj, who many of you might know as the root guru of Yogananda. In this training of this life, what happened was that Marpa the Translator taught him, of course, many karmic emotional healing and releasing and transmuting techniques. So there are two things that happened that were actual and real. One is that Marpa the Translator asked him to create a 7-story stupa out of stones that had to be picked up. If you know Tibet at all, it's a very kind of a rocky, kind of a hilly, cold place. He had to pick up all the stones one at a time and move them and build a stupa that had 7 different levels to it. And after he built the first stupa, Marpa asked him to take all the stones down one at a time, starting at the top, and put them all back exactly where he had found them. Then he asked Milarepa to do this a second time in a different location, pick up different stones, build a 7-story stupa, and when it was all finished, he asked him to take it all apart and put it all back, and each stone back in the place where it had been originated. Remember, stones have consciousness and they are alive. Now, to make a long story short, Milarepa was made to do and agreed to do this 7 times. He made a 7-story stupa and took it all apart. Well, that's an actual thing, and we know that because one of the last stupas after that, the 8th one, actually still exists in Tibet, and you can see it and find it. Symbolically, in another real way, because everything is consciousness and everything is energy. And so what happened is the 7 chakras within our physical system, our energy chakras, what Marpa was doing with Milarepa was asking him to cleanse and clear and to rebuild after taking down all the negative energies and transmuting all the negative intentions of revenge and the dark feelings of hatred and the emotions of all sorts of bad feelings towards other people, to cleanse it out of his whole mind, body, soul system and physiology in the energetic invisible chakras of his spine. And this is exactly what Milarepa did. It took him a while, obviously, quite a few years. When he was 45 years and he had completed all this work, he found himself a nice cave that he lived in, and it still is known as Milarepa's cave. I do know where it is, and you can go there. Some have gone there. It's a pilgrimage for local Tibetans and other people from Nepal and so on, as a spiritual pilgrimage to go to cleanse their own individual karmas and emotions. And Milarepa was so overjoyed with all this that he made some statements which I'm going to share with you now. He said, "When I was a young man, I rejoiced in revenge, and I had such bad karma through the black magic that I did. When I met Marpa the Translator and decided to become innocent again, I did regain my innocence and have stayed with my innocence. Having done that, I have resolved and demolished and disintegrated all of the good and bad karma that I have inculcated in many past lives, and now I choose to have no action at all, so that I have no future karma, but simply remain innocent and open and devoted to the one source of all that is, and do only good in everything I can." So most of the time he meditated in his ice cave in the mountains, and when he didn't, he went into this internal trance place where it's called supernatural running, where he actually could travel through the mountains and the snowy passes and over the mountains in a very fast speed by being in an alpha state and move quite quickly, much faster than one could do just walking on foot through the Himalayas and in any season at all. And he healed people. He was a healer. He was a wandering mendicant, and he was initiating people, obviously, in Buddhism because it became the foundation of one of the many great lineages of Tibetan Buddhism that we have here today under the auspices of His Holiness the Dalai Lama XIV. And bless him and his good health and peace be upon him. And so he was well known throughout Tibet and Nepal and the other areas in the Himalayas. His fame went far and wide, just not through only the healing process, but teaching meditation and yogi and how to become a true yogi. His process was uncompromising discipline and complete and ultimate renunciation of the need to have any ego, of the need to do anything for himself. His life was basically service to all and sundry who came to be with him. And a very deep, prayerful kind of being is Milarepa still. Now, we can say that in all his joy, he created 100,000 songs and poems. And so just in finishing off here now, there are a number of books you can read. The anthropologist Evans Vance from Oxford, you can read Tibet's greatest yogi, Milarepa, and then another one by Lobsang Lalangpa called The Life of Milarepa. Very well worth your read. May Milarepa always bless you and join with you in the great heart of the diamond heart of the key of all Buddhism, the Heart Sutra, where the beneficence and the love is sent to every being in all the universe and the cosmos. All love and all blessings, Dr. Joseph Martin. Blessings for you with Milarepa.